It's been a while, hasn't it? Today we're going to be going through each of the New Year's specials and seeing which one is the worst to the best. We did this a long time ago with the best to worst of Kirby Star Allies series, and it's been quite a minute, so I don't remember how to exactly do these, but I'll try my best. It's time to get going because these videos are supposed to be some of the strongest videos of the year for each year that we've done this channel. Ah, yes, where it started. The new decade special made in 2020, which was the first New Year special we did. It's because we do not count the New Year's update in 2019. We do not count that video. So, yeah, this video was good for its time. In fact, really good. A lot of people praised it. But as we continued on, it's pretty obvious that this thing has aged pretty poorly, which kind of sucks because, it just happens to some videos. But hey, let's get into it. Alright, so let's get started about each of these different aspects. We're rating these videos based off of the aspect of 7 things. We're going to start with quality. We gave it a 4 out of 10 in today's standards for sound and video, especially with the montage section. Its quality was just way too low, too much pixels and stuff. Effort, 6 out of 10. We definitely put in more effort on the future videos, but it's clear here that we put in some effort here too. Compared to a lot of other videos around this time, especially in 2019, it's something. It wasn't really that funny. I'm gonna be real. There was just nothing funny about it. However, it was except for the final part, but it does celebrate the new year very well, which is something I have to give it credit for. And it probably does it better than the rest of the specials. It was also pretty creative. Not the most, but hey, the fact that you even managed to make something like this is something. And for professional, we did round it up to a 4. It was originally 3.5. It's formatted pretty well. It does its job. However, obviously, compared to modern videos, it ain't going to really hold a chance against that. How the length feels, I think for what it's trying to do, it's a decent length. It does get a little bit repetitive, especially with the same music, but overall, hey, I kind of like how it was. Length is a good old 6 out of 10. Not too bad. Alright, so yeah, we used power rankings for this, and because of this, with all these things in mind, we gave it 38 points out of 100. So, quite a bit under average. That's just as expected. It's an old video. It's not going to do that well compared to modern videos. It's just how it is. So it's been a year since the last New Year special, 2020. And of course, with this one, it turns out there was some glaring issues that were starting to go show with the 2021, and it's clear that we need to do better. And it was pretty obvious what those issues were. However, did we exactly do better? It's safe to say that no. I don't know if we did exactly much better than last time, and I'm about to go and say why that is with this New Year special 2020. Similar to 2020, it used similar music, although the music definitely changed this time. It really wasn't that much of an improvement. However, the video quality did substantially improve, no longer having that low bitrate and looking a lot more like the quality of a lot more of the modern videos, 1080p. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Alright, so besides that, we gotta look into effort. There was more effort put into here. We even had the names of each of the videos in here and stuff like that. A whole intro and outro that was just more effort than the previous video, so yeah. And it was not exactly the funniest. There were some funny moments, but it was, besides the intro and outro, it was mostly just blurted out with like loud music, so that's just how it is. When it comes to celebrating the new year, I give it a good old solid 8 out of 10. It does around the same as the new decade special, just a little bit worse without the fireworks and stuff like that. Nothing major. And then you also have how professional is it. It's about the same on professionalism. It's nowhere near as good as some of the latest videos on how it sort of sorts itself, but it's similar to 2020. Alright, now for creativity, I think it's similar to 2020's. Where even though 2020 first introduced it, 2021 sort of evolved it and had its own little story with the evil version of 2020 kind of screwing everything up. So that was nice. And then the length was a solid like 2 out of 10. It was really long for no apparent reason. It did not need to be that long, especially for what it was doing. No reason whatsoever. It just was. That's it. And then yeah, the power ranking. Obviously, because of the length of the video, it definitely shoots it down. And after a large consideration, I consider it now worse than the 2020 version, because at least 2020's was watchable. So I had to give it a good solid 36 points. So let's go and get started. So after the not so great video that was the New Year Special 2021, leading down the whole New Year's series, we got the New Year Special 2022. And let's see how it does. So quality, 6 out of 10. I think it did pretty good on quality. It had decent sounds and videos, but clearly the video quality was better than the sounds. The effort was a solid 5 out of 10. I don't think there was as much effort in this one as the previous ones, even though I tried to. We just kind of copied a lot from 2021. It was a little bit more funny. There were some funny jokes here and there. It celebrated the New Year decently, but as again before, a little bit less in 2021 and 2020, just less overall. How professional is it? A solid 4 out of 10. Nothing major here. It's basically the same as before. Creativity, 7 out of 10. I think the reason why this was the case was because how we continued the whole series, and more importantly, how we sort of went with everything with such limited resources for that year. Obviously, I gave this one a 4 out of 10 when it comes to length though, because even though it was better than 2021's, it was still too long, so yeah. So because of it also including plushes and the choice of music, it just didn't really go great and wasn't that much of an improvement from the other two. It is definitely better though, and therefore it gets 41 points out of 100. Still about the same as the rest. Kinda sucks. After the somewhat failures of 2021 and 2022, the 2023 New Year special definitely had to do some changes here. And with being in the same case as 2022, things had to go differently this time. Let's see how it ended up. For quality and sound and video, we gave it a 6 out of 10. The video quality was kind of similar, maybe a little bit worse, especially with the pictures and stuff, but the sounds were definitely better, so we'll give it what it can. Effort, definitely a 4 out of 10. There was less effort in here than every other one, even though it may have looked better. It was, of course, pretty funny. This one was actually the first funny one, and I'll be honest, it definitely was. However, it celebrates New Year's the least. Like, I ain't gonna lie, besides that little 2023 picture thingy, it literally could have been a Christmas special. How professional is it? Honestly, it is pretty kind of professional, not really. You could definitely tell that we didn't have GMOD animation powers at this time like that, so we had to make what we had to do. Creativity, 8 out of 10. It's too different from every other one. It's too creative to the point where it's just different, and it kind of falls because of that. How the length feels. For what it was doing, really good length. One of the best lengths in the series, not being too long. Although, as you can see from the date it came out, it was kind of rushed and we had to go ahead and bring things together last minute. It was surprisingly pretty decent, at least compared to the other New Year specials for its time, and therefore we give it a solid 55 out of 100 points, putting it above that middle tier, so that's nice. So after the 2023 New Year special, we need to go find a way to make the 2024 New Year special even more special. Did it actually do that, or did it fail doing that? Let's find out. So of course the quality was about the same as before. There was really no change there. However, there was definitely more effort this time since we had more time to actually work on it. Some more stuff was done. It was kind of funny, not really as funny as 2023's, but it was still up there. And of course, it celebrates the New Year pretty well actually this time. There's a lot more New Year celebrations going on and stuff like that. How professional was it? It was kind of professional, a little bit more than last time. Things were more aligned. You could definitely tell there was a chronological order of events that actually kind of made sense. And then obviously for creativity, pretty creative, not super creative. We did bring back the 2020 villain. He actually combined with someone and we got some cool shit going, but kind of follows some of the 2022 and earlier stuff. And the length is decent. It's not exactly the best length. It's a little bit too long for what it does, but it's not overly long. It's to the point where it's unwatchable. I think it still does good. The biggest issue is how long the cutscenes were and stuff like that. They definitely went on too long, especially for the 2020 segment. But besides that, everything was honestly pretty decent, so we gave it a solid 62 points. It kind of did its job. After 2024, we continued releasing some pretty decent quality videos, and of course, There was some expectations going into the 2025 New Year's special. However, did we actually deliver? Let's find out. So first, let's go into the quality. The sounds were really good and the video quality was nice. There was even GMOD animation, so that was a plus for the first time. The effort, there was a whole lot of effort in this one. You can tell throughout the whole entire way, there was definitely effort here. It was kind of funny. It had a lot of jokes here and there, including near the end. Yeah, rest in peace, Mario. It celebrates the new year decently with a good beginning intro, but it doesn't celebrate it as well as some other videos in my opinion, including the last one, but hey, it still celebrates it. And it does look very professional, I ain't gonna lie. The quality is definitely much higher than the other videos for sure, so that's not even a question. It was pretty creative, including a battle between Crayolan, which is like the evil villain in this one. I think it did that pretty well. The length was alright. I think it goes a little bit too long. It went a bit too much on the montage side. Like, whenever something important was about to go happen, a montage just goes into your face. Besides the Splatoon one, that one was really well placed. But yeah, that's about it. Well, this one was definitely an improvement that we were looking for compared to the other ones. And if they continue like this, that would be nice. But it is going to be difficult trying to go top this. It was clearly not perfect, but it did so many things really well. And therefore, in my opinion, it deserves 82 points. That is pretty high. When it comes to the New Year's special series so far, I don't think any of the videos were really bad when they came out, but some definitely had more issues than others, which definitely kind of sucks. Even though that is the case, overall, I give this series a solid 63 out of 100. It's of course getting better now, but the first 2021 and 2022 especially kind of tarnished its reputation a bit, and I think it definitely needs to prove why it is that we need to pay attention to those videos on the channel instead of others, instead of just, you know, the past the challenges and stuff like that, or the GMOD animations. Hopefully 2026 can definitely go ahead and give us a better one here. That is about it. That's New Year's specials in a nutshell, and yeah, it's honestly a pretty nice series. We're gonna miss it, huh? See y'all next time.
Jesus! I just